What's up, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 108, 108. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason, and I'm joined as always by your other co-host. His name this evening is Multi Purses. Ah, I see. Very good. He's also known as Travis. Travis, what's good?
Nothing's good.
Well, something has to be good.
We live in America. Nothing's good. Remember?
Oh God. Don't start with that.
No, it's fine. I guess. Whatever. I'm alive. I guess that's good.
I've been having some existential crises of my own this week that I've been saving to discuss with you on the podcast. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, they can't be that important, or you wouldn't put them in public.
What do you mean? Of course I would.
What are you worried about? Are we going to debate the moral culpability of the death penalty?
No, nothing like that. This is a gaming podcast. We don't do that here. No, my two things I've been thinking about this week. I was taking
Hold on.
a
Hold on.
okay.
It's 9/11. You got to pause for a minute.
Where were you when them towers fell? 9/11. South Park reference, by the way. We're not disparaging 9/11.
Yeah, 9/11
So
was a tragedy.
yeah. So God, we're all over the place right here off the bat. So the first thing that I wanted to discuss was I was having a whiz in the loo, which is the bathroom. You Australians will know. Anyway, I was taking a whiz at the urinal this week, and then we had this event at work, and I finished my business and went to wash my hands, and some guy comes in, as guys often do, in the bathroom, and he just did the thing where he just leans up against the wall. He's like whips his thing out, and he's like leans up against the wall, and he's just freehanding it. You know what I'm saying? And I was just thinking, like, how is that possible? I don't understand how a gentleman can even do that. Like, and I'm not trying to say I have a big hog or anything. I'm just saying, man, like, I don't know. Like, I'm impressed, honestly, is what I'm trying to say, I guess, that you can just, you can just let it blossom, let it flow, and you're just in the urinal the whole time. I don't have that kind of aim, I guess, but I feel like you're a free hander. I think I've seen you do that a couple times. Yes or
Only
no?
when I'm tired.
Oh, so the guy was just tired, maybe just a little too much work to hold his penis, as it were.
Okay. Wow. First of all, can't believe you assume I have one of those. Second of all,
Fair.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like you're just super tired. Like I've done it
Mm.
in the morning before where, like, you're just so tired, I just lean against the wall over top of the thing, over top of the john and
I
just pee
just
into it.
Wow. I just can't. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Can you not
Okay, so
control your penis?
I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, I can, but like I just feel like I feel more I like to be in control, and the way I
Mm.
feel most in control is when I have my hand on it. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. Yeah, I assume that's how you handle most situations. That's
Uh.
why the whole time you said your vows, you held onto your dick.
Oh God. Okay, so the second thing, because we've got to get moving here. We got a big show, kind of like my hog. I'm teasing. So the second, oh man, we're out of control already. Probably everybody just hit stop. So the second thing that I wanted to discuss with you is I was at the gas station, and I was thinking about how everybody has to play their part in the world, and that should go without saying, right? But what I mean is that you're at the gas station. You hit print receipt after you're done getting your gas. The receipt doesn't come out. There's no paper. Whatever. Fuck it. Just get in the car and go. You got to get somewhere, right? But there's people in the world who you need. There are certain people in the world that we need because they're going to go in and they're going to tell the gas station person, "Hey, pump 10 is out of receipt paper," right? So the
Mhm.
next time you roll around, you're going to have a nice receipt roll out for you. You know, along those same lines, the world needs people like me who, a germaphobe like myself. You and I go to lunch, we go get a nice cheeseburger. I go to wash my hands before I eat. There's no soap. I'm going and telling somebody there's no soap 9 times out of 10 if I can get to somebody. The world needs people like me too. You need me to have soap for you in the bathroom. You need John Doe to make sure you get your gas receipt. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
everybody just needs to play their part is what I'm trying to say. And it just really caught me I was just, I don't know, just in a moment, having a moment there in a
Mhm.
wormhole, thinking about, wow, there's just these people that are certain archetypes in the world that we need, because there's something that probably annoys you that you're going to go ask for every time, and it solves a problem for somebody down the road. Does that make sense?
The whole time you were talking, I just realized that you just became a self-aware NPC.
I did. I just
It's
broke the simulation.
it's kinda funny, you broke the fourth wall.
Oh,
Uh,
I did.
no, yes, we do need all those people, like the people that call and complain about the road enough that the government actually uses your tax dollars to fix the road, like, that person has to exist. It's not
Yeah.
me until it breaks my car, though.
Yeah, sure, sure. Well, anyway, Travis, we are a PlayStation podcast where you and I get together each and every week and we discuss all things PlayStation, like news, rumors, new game releases and announcements, and much more. We do it all in under 90 minutes, of course, and we post new episodes every Monday on all of the usual podcast services around the world, as well as YouTube, where we also post gameplay videos, and YouTube channel is doing very well. I'm very pleased with that. You can also find us on social media, of course. Our weapon of choice is Twitter, where you can find us at the DualSense Pod. But we're also on Instagram, where you can find us, and we'll be sharing virtual photography. We also have Facebook and a blog, which is the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.com. If you want to get your episodes there or see our lovely photos, you can do so. So please find us and hit us up and discuss some PlayStation with us. So without further ado, Travis, we need to jump right into the news here because we have a lot of ground to cover and we'll have to figure out a way to get this done in 90 minutes here. As a matter of fact, we have probably 4 or 5 news stories, in my opinion, that could have been the first news story, the top news story, but it's just one of those kinds of weeks. So here we go. Number one, as we rapidly approach what appears to be an early 2023 launch for the PlayStation VR2 headset, Sony pinned a PlayStation blog post this week with details of the next gen VR headset's user experience. The offerings are quite robust and include a see through feature that will allow you to easily survey your surroundings without taking the headset off, thanks to the embedded front cameras. Activating see through view can be done by a button on the headset or using the PlayStation VR2 card in the PS5 Control Center. The new headset can also utilize the PS5 HD camera to record and broadcast yourself playing in VR if you choose, and you will have the ability to customize your play area using both the headset and the PSVR 2 Sense controllers. This is done by using the headset to scan your surroundings and then using the Sense controllers to more finely tune your play area borders with like a laser pointer essentially. If you come too close to the border or hazards while playing, you will receive a warning from within the headset. These boundaries can be changed anytime from the settings, so if you are someone who moves from room to room or likes to travel with your VR headset, then fret not. Additionally, PSVR 2 will launch with 2 operating modes: VR mode and cinematic mode. VR mode is just as it sounds and is what you expect, allowing players to play VR content in a 360-degree view in a 4000 pixel by 2040 pixel HDR video format with either 90 or 120 frames per second. In cinematic mode, players can, quote, view the PS5 system and UI and all non VR games and media content on a virtual cinema screen. Content in cinematic mode will be displayed in 1920 by 1080, so full HD, HDR video format with 24/60 hertz and also 120 hertz frame rate, end quote. And finally, Sony revealed that developers will get access to this new user experience in a PSVR 2 system software update that's rolling out imminently, with more information on the headset being revealed soon, including the launch date and more game announcements. Okay, so a little bit more PSVR 2 news, and it sounds like we're getting oh so close to finding out launch date and pre order info, etc. So, what do you make of the new info about the user experience?
Yeah, nothing in this news bulletin makes me not want the game or the system, whatever you call it, the
I
accessory.
agree. Hmm.
So yeah, early 23 launch. So okay, Q1, we'll call it Q1, and
Hmm.
that sounds amazing to me. I'm excited about that. And what makes me feel like, it was originally destined to be a holiday thing this year. For whatever reason, it got bumped back. And typically when things get bumped back, it's a huge delay. Basically to bump it back a quarter, I feel like that's kind of a win for Sony with the supply chain stuff that we've seen in the past couple of years. The first thing about, being able to survey your surroundings without taking your headset off, like, I did not expect something like that, and that's something that's actually very cool. When I
Yeah, I
first
never
read it,
considered that.
yeah, when I first read it, I was like, that's kinda dumb." And then the more I thought about it, I was like, "Actually, that's pretty useful." Like,
Yeah,
if somebody comes in and just talk, you know what I mean? Because you know how like, your family and, our wives are, like, yeah, it's great. I can just look at you and talk to you. I don't have to take the whole thing off, like, whatever. It
and
kinda
I can
works
just
out
be a
well.
robot.
Yeah, I could be
Mhm,
a robot. And the using, like, kind of being able to, in a sense, quickly establish the boundaries of your room using kinda like the laser type system is something that I think everybody wants out of VR. It's something that, obviously the earlier versions of VR, not just PSVR, but other versions of VR like the Oculus and stuff like that, didn't really have that, right? You needed a bunch of room. It wasn't as easy to kind of delineate where the boundaries were. This seems like, from what I'm reading and what else the other parts I've read, that this will work really well and be relatively quick, and that's awesome. So it makes it way more portable and usable and versatile. It, you know, that's what you want out of a headset, like, it or a VR headset's awesome. Other than that, if we're being honest, the cinematic mode, I know that people are gonna be like, "Dude, you can watch movies like having a movie theater in front of your face." Yeah,
mhm.
it is. People are gonna watch porn on this, that's what that is. So, like, on Reddit, if you look on Reddit randomly, because I follow a couple of different Reddit ones, one of them I follow is, Data is Beautiful. And they will randomly
Okay.
they just put up random stats of random data, and usually it's just irrelevant, and it's stupid. And some of the stuff they put up are those maps I send you where it's like cell phone usage in the 1960s, and it's just a blank map of America. Like, they'll do stuff like that,
Yeah.
but also they'll put up stats that, like, Pornhub releases, and it's like it was like there was one a couple of months ago that was like a review from, like, last holiday, like 2021 and Christmas, and it was like devices used, and, like, PlayStation was, like, 20% of users, and then it was, like,
Mhm.
80 well, it was, like, you know what I mean? It's, like, 80%, phone, 10% PlayStation, 5% computer. So, like, that's exactly what this is
Yeah.
gonna be. I have this idea because you remember when we used to be able to watch Netflix together, like, and it had, like, a little couch in
Yeah.
front of it? Like,
I kinda missed that.
yeah, it would be cool if we could do that through PSVR, even if it's through just it'd have to be through a third party app where, like, we could watch
Mhm.
we could watch a Bill Burr special together, or we could watch, a YouTube video together or something like that, or even if we did share play, I could
Yeah.
watch you play through the headset or something like that. That would be really dope.
I think all that's coming.
That'll be cool. I'm into that. I'm into this. I'm excited to see the price. More excited about the
Yeah.
price than the launch date and the game announcements. The launch date is what it is. I can be patient. The game announcements, there'll be something cool eventually. So, right now I'm waiting for the price.
Yeah, so I didn't include it in the write-up, but the rumors, because 'cause they're not great rumors, but the rumor is that the price will be $4.99. It'll come with the headset and the controllers. I think that sounds correct because I don't think they can charge more than the PS5 itself. But like we've talked about before, I think they can definitely charge as much as the PS5 at the high end. So
Yeah, yeah.
$500, I think, is a sweet spot, in my opinion, and that's probably where it'll land. And it sounds like a with that said, it sounds like a very robust piece of hardware. Like you said, everything that I read about this and that I saw in the PlayStation blog looked awesome. Like all of this sounds really cool, really neat. It sounds really high end, and I'm excited to hopefully get my hands on it and to play it. So as long as the games are there, then I think they've got something special, is what it sounds like. And then the cinematic mode, I actually found that pretty interesting because more out of curiosity than anything. Like I want to see like, okay, what's it look like when I play Red Dead Redemption with the headset on in
Mhm.
cinematic mode? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, that would
I'm
be
just
cool.
curious, like, yeah, like because I've someone who's never wore a VR headset, like, is it gonna look like I'm sitting in a gigantic movie theater and then Red Dead's on the screen, like, because of, like, how close it is to my eyes, you know what I'm saying? Or, like, is it just gonna look like I'm watching a 32-inch TV and playing Red Dead? So,
Mhm.
that's the sort of thing, like, I don't understand yet about VR is just what's the immersion level and what's the experience like? So, I'm excited about this. This sounds awesome, and I don't think we'll have to wait too much longer to find out some info. I'm wondering if they're going to. I can't imagine that they'll give us anything at like a showcase event if they do that in September. I feel like this is more of like a standalone like state of play about VR, and at the end of it,
Oh,
they're like
yeah.
it's $499.99 and pre-orders, and it launches March 12th, and pre-orders open And then they drop a blog post, and then it's like pre-orders open next week or whatever. So that's kind of how I feel like it'll go down. Number two, we received our first real peek at how the sausage known as Grand Theft Auto 6 is being made this week, Travis, thanks to Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier, who interviewed more than 20 current and recently departed Rockstar employees. That I made it sound like they died. I just meant that they recently left the company. Anyway, 20 recently departed Rockstar employees that have worked on the game. First off, Schreier says the game is, quote, at least 2 years away, end quote, and that development began sometime in 2014. Early on, the game, known as Project Americas internally, was set in large parts of North and South America before the scope was reeled in to include a fictional version of Miami and its surrounding areas, i.e., Vice City. Schreier's sources also revealed that GTA 6 will include a playable female protagonist for the first time since 1997's original Grand Theft Auto released on PC. She will be one of two main characters in a main story that is inspired by bank robbers Bonnie and Clyde, and it also sounds like the game will be more culturally sensitive and politically correct, with Schreier writing, quote, developers are also being cautious not to, quote unquote, punch down by making jokes about marginalized groups, end quote. In an interesting twist that perhaps means this is the last mainline entry in the Grand Theft Auto series as we know it, the sources say the game's single player map will be updated over time, quote, adding new missions and cities on a regular basis, which the leadership hopes will lead to less crunch during the game's final months, end quote. The game is also said to include more interior locations than any previous GTA title, which development of has delayed the game internally. Bloomberg also reported that Rockstar has undergone a cultural overhaul, which includes comp time for every hour of overtime worked, new mental health and leave benefits, the hiring of more producers to help eliminate crunch, and more. And finally, multiple industry sources from Tom Henderson to Jason Schreier to Video Games Chronicle claim that Grand Theft Auto 6 will not launch until at least 2024, but potentially 2025, with the last premium Rockstar Games release being 2018's Red Dead Redemption 2. So, what do you think about our forthcoming GTA 6?
I guess the set of the game we've heard for a while. Miami's a lot of fun, but
Mm-hmm.
as people talk about it at work, Miami is just Cuba with money. So it's not really America.
That's
So
funny.
that'll be
Mm-hmm.
interesting. It'll be nice to have Vice City back, but I'm imagining a map or a city that's very large. Like it'll have much like Red Dead. We'll
Mm-hmm.
have Miami, then we'll have like the Everglades. We'll have like all these kind of regions where it's almost like you're getting
Interesting.
a map with different areas of Florida all within it. Is kind of what I
Mm-hmm.
imagine in my head. I've always wanted to have a city that has a lot of basically where every building is usable or at least you could walk in
Right.
it. So I'm super excited to see what
Mm-hmm.
that looks like. I'm sure that's super hard to build and super massive. But that'll be really dope. The only criticism I have is we're not going to punch down by making jokes about marginalized groups, but we're going to base a story about two bank robbers who murdered people and we're going to lift them up.
Mm.
Like, what's
Mm.
worse, me
Fair point.
me making fun of whatever Mexicans with a silly cultural joke that's obviously stupid and it's
Mm-hmm.
intended to be kind of making fun of the fact that those people are dumb, or
Right.
glorify these stupid people who murdered people and robbed banks. Just
Yeah, that's a good point.
just a thought. But no, it's funny how long these games always take to make, and they're always really good. I'm always kind of patient with him. I'm just annoyed at Rockstar in general because it seems like GTA 5 is I know it's the biggest selling game of all time and it was really really fun to play, but I'm not sure it's like even in my top 5 games of all time.
Yeah,
It's
same.
just not for me. They
Yeah,
act like, you know, it's one of the new chapters of the Bible, like, God came down and said you forgot about this one, put it in the new King James version. Like I don't get it. It's interesting they're talking about, like, they've changed their culture and they're adding in comp time, mental health leave, and they're hiring all these producers. Well, I'd hope so, because they have, like,
sure.
$1 billion, so they should be able to afford all this stuff. Like, if you have as much money as them, you should be able to buy your way out of crunch and then make the money back hand over foot. Like, it shouldn't be a problem. You can afford to pay 10 guys 80K a year to avoid crunch. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You probably
Oh,
make
yeah.
80K in an hour. Like, you So I'm just saying, like, this is something that if you look across at least America, these types of things are becoming more prominent with comp time. mental health benefits, et cetera, larger staffs to kind of take away the stress level. But those companies have to be able to afford it, and they are definitely a company that can, so they should definitely do that. That is a good thing. As always, I'm super excited to see what it actually is. The more we know, the more interested I'll get. At this point, I've already heard all this stuff before. The only new nugget to me was the Bonnie and Clyde thing, so I'm not blown away by the news story. But it's nice to see that we have. I'll take that back. The thing that surprised me was they started work in 2014. Like that's 10
Yeah,
years of development. That is quite impressive.
it's fucking
But I
dumb.
feel like they had
Sure,
at least 8 or 9 years on Red Dead 2. So
probably.
it's cool. I'm excited, but I'll get more excited next year.
Yeah, I'm in an odd way. I'm excited about it. It's bittersweet. I'm bitter because of what it means for Red Dead, obviously, like we've talked about. But I know that the game will be big. It will probably be very good. It will be, you know, a cultural touchstone probably for a while. It'll be a big deal. It'll be water cooler talk. It'll be all people talk about for weeks and months. So I understand all that. The fact that they've been working on this since 2014 and we still are where we are, like you said, I think that's crazy. I mean, but they obviously haven't been working in full production that entire
Right.
time either. But the other thing is that, like you said, I feel weird about the fact that they're saying that they are being more culturally sensitive. Like, in my opinion, Rockstar has in Grand Theft Auto has never been like over the top, like
South Park?
yeah, like picking on someone. Like we know it's satire,
Mhm.
right? Like we understand, like that is Grand Theft Auto. There you mentioned South Park. There are only, in my opinion, like a few IPs or people in entertainment that can say whatever they want and get away with it, and we understand, oh, they're making fun, it's a joke, like whatever. It's a short list, in my opinion. It's Grand Theft Auto, it's South Park, it's Dave
Right.
Chappelle,
And
like
yeah,
like
that's really
it's
it.
that. I mean, that's it. Like they can, and I don't know, man. I just feel it feels weird to me to hear them say that, and I understand that times have changed, but I don't know. I don't like that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like just be yourself. Just be Grand Theft Auto. Like I understand they're changing the culture. They talked about how they're not this like frat house type of thing anymore. And I totally get
That's
that. And
fair.
that's a good thing. But and yeah, that's all a good thing. But like don't take the piss out of your game. Like, don't take the piss out of what Grand Theft Auto is. Like, if you have a joke, then make the joke within reason. Like, don't come out and say something like, don't drop an N bomb in Grand Theft Auto or whatever, or something silly like that. But like, if you have a joke about how the right is only worried about saving babies, but owning more guns than people in America, whatever, then make the joke. Like, it's fine. I don't know, man. But anyway, so I digress. But the other thing that really intrigues me about this and does make me excited is the idea of like this, and I feel weird even saying this too, but of like this persistent single player Grand Theft
Mhm,
Auto, like where they add maybe they add Liberty City or they add new portions of the map or whatever. Like that sounds really interesting to
mhm.
me, and curious to see what that could
It's
look
just
like.
it's just a it's just a live service.
Yeah, sure. And that's interesting that they could have a live service single player component, and then they're obviously going to carry over Grand Theft Auto Online as the live service online component simultaneously. So I wonder if they could have like these two properties in online and then the single player GTA 6 that are just massive. You know what I'm saying? Just like simultaneously massive, but for similar but different reasons. Like that's super interesting to me. So I guess we'll see what it all means in about 3 years, maybe. Number three, Stefan Dastu, the founder of developer IDOS Montreal, gave a revealing and fascinating interview to website gamesindustry.biz this week. In it, he revealed that Square Enix does not hold their Western studios in the same regard as their Japanese teams, and is likely what led them to selling IDOS Montreal Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix Montreal, along with all of their IP, to Embracer Group for a staggeringly low $300 million earlier this year. In fact, Dastu, who no longer works at IDOS, said, quote, if I read between the lines, Square Enix Japan was not committed as we hoped initially. And there are rumors, obviously, that with all these activities of mergers and acquisitions, that Sony would really like to have Square Enix within their wheelhouse. I heard rumors that Sony said they're really interested in Square Enix Tokyo, which is the headquarters, but not the rest. So I think Square Enix CEO Yosuke Matsuda-san put it like a garage sale, end quote. This may explain the fire sale price tag of $300 million dollars for the three Western studios, which included IP such as Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and others, compared to another recent Embracer Group acquisition, that of Gearbox, who sold for $1.3 billion dollars with a B, with essentially the Borderlands IP as their main selling point. It does seem rather curious. Couple this with the fact that there have been several rumors of Sony Interactive Entertainment acquiring Square Enix over the course of this year, and it could mean that the sale of the three studios by Square Enix was a move to make the company leaner and therefore easier to be acquired. Clearly, the two parties have a strong relationship, as the upcoming Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is a PlayStation 5 exclusive, as is the mainline Final Fantasy 16 coming next year. And then there is, of course, Part 1 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was originally announced as a timed PlayStation exclusive, but has still not migrated to Xbox or Switch, more than 2 years since launching on PS4, with no mention of it since. The final, and perhaps most interesting piece of a potential Sony and Square Enix puzzle is that Bloomberg Law reported this week that Sony Interactive Entertainment has hired top antitrust and public policy lawyer Gregory McCurdy as their new senior director for competition and regulatory affairs, a new role that PlayStation created just for him. McCurdy most recently worked for Uber in a similar role, and Microsoft before that as their first antitrust lawyer operating in Europe. Okay, so what do you think of a well, what do you make of any of this? But what do you think about potential Square Enix acquisition?
Right. I mean, imagine the Japanese valuing themselves over anything in the West. Like that's a shock.
That's, I
None of
mean,
that
true,
surprises
yeah.
me.
Culturally, like that's a thing for them, right?
Oh, 100%. And and like we've talked about before, $300 million for Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, like that's pretty cheap
Yeah, it's a
for
joke.
what yeah, for what stuff goes for now. It's kind of asinine. And I
Hmm.
don't really understand how making them lean necessarily makes them easier to purchase.
Yeah, I think Sony did. I think my just theory on this is I don't think Sony wanted those teams. Like they don't need Tomb Raider because they have Uncharted,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera. But
Yeah,
continue.
well, why not just sell it off? Okay, whatever, it's fine.
Like before, I mean, after the fact, you're saying?
Yeah, because then you could
Yeah,
just get the money back. Anyway, cool, whatever.
yeah,
You know, there's definitely a strong relationship, like you pointed out with the Final Fantasy stuff. That's easy. That's an easy call there. Like you said, you hiring an antitrust public policy lawyer. That's like what's the opposite of a red flag? It's like it's an obvious statement. Like they might as well
yeah,
inscribe something. They might as well put a tweet out saying, "Hey, we're gonna buy a bunch of shit," and then wink at Square Enix. Like it just seems very obvious at this point. I can't imagine they would not buy it. Like if you look at the stuff that we've heard out of PlayStation the last what year, yeah, we'll keep
yeah.
looking at stuff to buy. Yeah, we want to keep acquiring this, that, and the other. Like this is on a T for them. And then
Hmm.
obviously they've hired somebody who knows how to block the trust accusations that's going to come with buying something large. This is something large. So I
Yeah,
think the writing's on the wall. I don't think it's necessary. Like we've talked about before, like we really like organic PlayStation things.
yeah,
And in the environment that we live in now, it's buying outside entities seems to be a necessity really if you want to be competitive. So in that sense, they kind of have to make a move on Square Enix. Like they almost don't have a choice that they want to keep up with the Joneses, right? So from that point of view, I'm cool with it. All this stuff is being bought so fast. It's like we really just
yeah,
don't know. We won't know for like 5 or 6 years or something like that.
yeah.
What the outcome really is.
I agree. I do. Like you said, we've talked about on the show that we're more of a fan of like organic growth. Although I've admitted on the show that I don't think that's where we are anymore because we're in this like arms race especially between Microsoft and Sony, Xbox and PlayStation to kind of have, all these things. And I think that the fact that PlayStation closed Japan studio, not they didn't close it, but they neutered it. They basically got rid of everything they didn't want, and the only thing that Japan studio does now is Astro. So I think that combined with everything that we had here in the write up and the antitrust lawyer, huge red flag, like you said, and everything, it definitely seems like something is happening in my point or from my point of view. And I think that PlayStation may have been looking at it and they thought, well, we can get rid of, our Japanese operation. It's not really doing anything worthwhile in their opinion. No big AAA titles, so to speak, not lately anyway. And then we can go out and get, Square Enix's Japanese operation, and we can have all of Final Fantasy, and we can have all of these JRPGs and strategy RPG. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, and at the end of the day, I think that's a net positive for Sony if that ends up being the case. They definitely come out on top in that sequence of events, no doubt. But on the other hand, it will be weird for Square Enix to be walled off from other systems, and maybe they won't be. Maybe it'll be like Bungie, but I just don't see that happening. I feel like if this acquisition goes down, this one will make whatever properties, whatever studios, whatever IP that they acquire, if it happens, if it's real, it will be exclusive to PlayStation, in my opinion. I just feel like
Mhm.
that's the way it would be headed. I mean, we already see, like you said, and like it was in the write up, what's happening with Final Fantasy out in the open before anything has happened. So, what do you think that looks like after the fact if that happens? Number 4, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier reported that the timed PlayStation 5 exclusive remake of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic from developer Aspire Media has been put on hold after the game's design director Brad Prince, yes, and art
Mhm.
director Jason Miner were both fired earlier this month. The two were dismissed after a demo of the game was shown to its production partners Lucasfilm and Sony Interactive Entertainment, so it didn't go well. After which the team was told that the demo did not meet internal expectations, according to
Clearly.
sources. Sure, yeah. The game was originally planned to release at the end of this year, but was publicly announced for 2023. However, one of Schreier's sources said that 2025 is much more realistic, and internally, some staff believe the project will be fully handed over to Saber Interactive, the parent company of Aspire Media, and a well known porting studio within the industry. So no Knights of the Old Republic, not looking good. It's an indefinitely delayed. What do you think?
There are these stories from like medieval Europe where the court jester would be called in to make the king laugh, and if he failed, they would murder him. And this is like the
Yeah.
modern version of that.
Yes.
Poor guys. You know they knew going into it. They were like, "This might be a little tight."
Yeah.
Did not work out.
Yeah. It's either gonna so we're either gonna sink or swim here, bud.
So that's kind of shitty for them. Moving over to Saber, I think it's a rumor we've heard pick up some steam in the last few weeks. So that makes sense. I would buy into that for sure. I'm kind of over all the Star Wars stuff, but for some reason
Yeah.
this one feels, I don't know why, this one feels like it's going to be good to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's just
Oh.
there's something about it that feels like it's going to be really good. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I don't know. I don't no reason. Obviously, the demo was so shitty; they fired people, so it must be great. Yeah, I mean, look, if you fire two people, the game's not coming out next year. Like, you can't fire the
Mm.
game design director and the art director and expect a game to come out next year unless you're making a pirate game that the government is making you make. So, but yeah, no, I'm
Uh-huh.
interested to see where this goes. The whole story. I really want Schreier to just tell us exactly what happened in the meeting. Like, I just want, like, I want a printout of what was said to these people.
The weird thing is that PlayStation, I think at some sort of state of play or something that they've done at some point in the past few months, they like had a trailer for this thing. I think they're the ones in their own state of play that said 2023, if I remember correctly. So, now it's just kind of sitting there for however long, at least 2025, potentially longer. And so that's, I don't know. I don't know if PlayStation will keep that second party agreement to have that exclusive to PS5 down the road, but maybe they will just on principle alone because of the Star Wars IP and how big that is and the potential of that if they can figure it out and get it right, that would be a big hit down the road. So sounds like a mess. I mean, if you're firing these high level dudes after they gave that presentation, like you said, I can't imagine what that looked like to like walk out of that meeting. You go home, like you fly home, you come to work on Monday, you walk in like, hey, they didn't like the presentation. Get the fuck out. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's,
But imagine you paid for in-flight Wi-Fi and got a phone call.
yeah, while you're on the plane. Yeah. Like, hey, man, they didn't like it. Why don't you guys go ahead and get a connecting flight back to wherever the fuck you came from? So, Anyway, we'll see what happens, but not looking good for Knights of the Old Republic. Number 5, off the back of a couple of major leaks in recent months, industry insiders now claim that PlayStation has fallen victim to some sort of data or security breach that they have yet to resolve. In recent months, both The Last of Us Part 1 has suffered a massive gameplay leak, which forced developer Naughty Dog to respond with a reveal video, and God of War Ragnarok had its release date and special edition information leak ahead of time as well. And that is only the beginning, according to Xbox Era's Nick Baker and Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, with the two agreeing on a recent podcast that, quote, someone has gotten a hold of something, end quote, at Sony. Baker, who is the vehicle for The Last of Us Part 1 leaks last week, added that he is still getting offers for a number of other PlayStation first-party leaks before stating that we can expect another God of War Ragnarok leak in the near future. Interestingly, a months-old post in the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit, which has since been deleted, claims that someone had got their hands on a company laptop with a 100 gigabyte hard drive full of sensitive PlayStation data, which very well could be the source of these leaks. What do you think?
Oh yeah, it has to be coming from somewhere. The obvious there's two obvious answers. Somebody that has a continual flow of information with continual access to data
Yeah.
that can pump it out. Now, why would they pump it out? Kind of doesn't make sense to pump it out unless you're getting a kickback of some sort. And I doubt it's a free subscription to Jeff Grubb's Giant Bomb magazine or whatever the fuck it is. Conspiracy people are going to say, well, it's the Xbox hackers. Like, no, I doubt it.
Mhm.
It's probably a guy that works at Sony. Hell, it could be a fucking janitor and they left the door unlocked and he just found a computer and why not, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, to me, there's two ways to look at it. It's just a dude who has the stuff. Maybe he stole something, got a hold of it somehow. Left, they gave the wrong guy access to a share drive, something like that, and he's just releasing stuff because he can. Why not, right? He likes being the guy with the information, or it's a guy higher up with maybe a deeper level of access than people realize, and he's doing it to get some sort of kickback, or whatever. It's like the guys in the NBA that, Brian Windhorst breaks all this news. It's because he knows all the players and he was boys with LeBron. There's a relationship there. What does that mean? Does that mean he wines and dines people? Does that mean that he builds trust in some way and they give him kickbacks? I don't know. Who knows? But there's something there, and the word leak implies like something negative and dirty. And in a sense, you could make the argument that the PlayStation leaks are those things. I just don't see leaks for video games as something that I'm worried about, per se. Like if people are leaking CIA government secrets, that's a problem. But
Yeah.
like when you're like,
Agreed.
here's footage of God of War, I'm like, okay. like
Right.
like
Yeah.
that's PlayStation's problem, not mine. Like I'm benefiting.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to be kind of angry about that. I feel like there's another way that this could happen, and the other way would be that PlayStation is doing it on purpose, and they're kind of
Mm.
using the leaks as a barometer, a test of
Could
sorts.
be.
So, which is a thing that we know the government does all the time with things. So it's not unheard of.
Yeah, it could be. I had an epiphany though while you were talking. That Twitter account that's been leaking all the PlayStation stuff here lately, the Snitch. It's pretty much been like only like PlayStation stuff. I think.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the person who got a hold of this hard drive allegedly, and they've been leaking all this shit. But
Or somebody paid an employee to give them the hard drive. Like that could be a thing.
could have, sure, absolutely. You know, I don't know how these things are handled. I mean, how do you find? I mean, it can be done. It's 2022, but like I don't know. I just feel like it could be more trouble than it's worth. Like I don't know, maybe not, but depends on what they're leaking. Also, if you have all this stuff, what is possessing you? Like, how do you have self control to not just leak everything at one time?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that takes a lot of self control for whoever is like doing this drip feed and whoever is like offering this stuff up to reporters. Like I would just do it. Like if I'm just going to tell you guys, if I got my hands, if me or Travis got our hands on a 100 gigabyte hard drive full of PlayStation stuff, like we're going to put that on the fucking podcast Twitter feed. Like
Right.
maybe not all at one time, but like we're not going to give it to Nick Baker or Jeff Grubb. Like
It's
we're going to put it on our shit, and
it's in
then
Vita, baby.
yeah. And then you can come to us for that. Okay, come to us. Let Daddy take care of you. Number 6, the PS5 firmware beta testing program received a massive update this week, which also means that these features will be coming to all PS5s at some point in the future. likely by the end of the year. The new features include support for 1440p video output, game folders, 3D and stereo audio comparison, streamlined access to in progress activities, new social features like joinable game notifications from friends, and more. Interestingly, when forcing the PS5 to output 1440p to a 4K capable display, a game with a higher native resolution than 1440p will benefit from improved anti aliasing through super sampling down to 1440p output. Later in the day, PlayStation also revealed a partnership with mobile gaming controller company Backbone to produce an officially licensed iPhone gaming controller called the Backbone 1 PlayStation Edition. The DualSense inspired controller is only compatible with iPhone at the moment, is powered by your iPhone, and allows players to use the PlayStation Remote Play app to stream games to their phone on the go or from just across the house. The controller is also compatible with the Pulse 3D wireless headset, which can be directly connected to it. Players can also download the Backbone app for iOS, which will feature a customized PlayStation experience, including the ability to browse game titles and create video clips on the go. The Backbone 1 PlayStation Edition costs $99 and is available right now. So, what do you think about some new shit, new features, new
Mhm.
mobile shit?
What is a game folder? What am I doing with the game folder?
So, like you had 5 sports games, you could put them all in the sports games folder on your PS5.
Okay, guys. All right.
Yeah, we had them on PS4, I think,
I hate it.
at some point.
Anyway, the social features are fine, cool. And the streamlined in progress activities is needed. I'm glad that's a thing. Like we needed to have that. It's kind of annoying trying to get there. It's just clunky. It's
Hmm.
not user friendly in my opinion. What's interesting is I've thought for a while that there should be some sort of like the remote play is so cool, but it fucking sucks
Yeah,
to use. So it's nice to have an actual device to play with it. The Backbone One is a terrible name. They should just call it the
sure.
Backbone would be fine. But anyway, I
Hmm.
would I would I would 100% buy that right now if my remote play worked. It's never fucking worked for me. Like
Mm,
every time I try it,
interesting.
it can't connect. It can't connect. It can't connect. But I would, if it worked, hey, I would do it because I can tell you right now, playing a management game on my phone with that would be perfect. Like I could just sit at the couch.
Ah, yeah,
Fuck it. You know what I want to do? I want to build some roller coasters. I can do that for 30 minutes. Turn it off. No big deal. So,
yeah,
if I
true.
can get it to work, that's something I might end up buying because playing the F1 Manager game next month might be something worth doing.
Yeah,
That'd be fun to do.
yeah, that's a good
You could
point.
do it. You could do it at work on a break if you had time or whatever. You're waiting for a meeting, you could pull it up and do that instead of preparing and being a professional. So that'd be a lot of fun. I'm glad that it.
Taking a dump.
Yeah, I'm glad that the 3D wireless headset will work with it. That's also really cool. Yeah, all of that I think is really interesting, and I think it's something they needed to do.
Yeah, on the PS5 side, I'm most interested in the 1440p. I don't think I can't say that I've ever seen 1440p. So I'm curious like what that looks like and if that's like enough. Like, is that was that satisfactory to me? Is what I'm trying to say, and will that open the door for me to have more advanced graphical features since I'll be okay with 1440p like down the road? What I'm trying to say, in other words, is if I can play games now at 1440p and be okay with that resolution, and that means that I also get ray tracing and I get,
Mhm.
all these other high end graphical features, then dope. So we'll see how that goes as things progress with games. And then I am excited about the new social features too. So, like, when I join a game in Battlefield and we're already in a party, like I don't have to send you a thing. It's going to pop up and tell you that you can join me. Really cool. You can just, whatever, hit the button and hit OK and you join me automatically. That's dope. Stuff like that. And I, like you, am very intrigued by the Backbone. There's an Xbox version that's been out for a long time already, and it has great reviews. People say it's a really good controller. So the same company now makes the PlayStation one. Really intrigued by it, especially since we're not going to get a Vita 2. The ability to play like for a little bit in bed, like you said, or whatever, or maybe while I'm watching a game or something. The only problem is, I mean, I guess I just described 2 instances, but I don't, I don't want to kill. Like, I already don't like the idea of like playing with my phone and like killing half the battery because I played 30 minutes of fucking, you know, whatever Arcadegeddon. So that's really the only drawback for me is killing the battery, when am I going to use it, so on and so forth. But very intrigued by it and going to keep my eye on it. And I'm sure it'll go on sale eventually because the Xbox One does pretty regular, not pretty regularly, but occasionally. So I'm going to maybe pick it up on a sale and see how it is. But I don't know that I've tried my remote play on PS5. I definitely did it with Red Dead on PS4 from a hotel room in like Dallas or something one time. So that was interesting because I had to get that was when I was like heavy into getting my daily challenge streak, and that's why I have so much money, like more money than I'll ever need on Red Dead. But anyway, so it was laggy then, I remember, but it was serviceable. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't the best either. Number 7, Sony reported its 2022 first quarter earnings this week, and perhaps the most glaring item is that it sounds like the Japanese giant is considering raising the prices on PlayStation 5 consoles. For context, in April of this year, Sony raised the Japanese prices of various consumer electronics, from cameras to Blu ray players, due to rising cost of raw materials, distribution, and the ongoing semiconductor shortage. When asked during the earnings call this week if they were considering increasing the PS5 price as well, Sony Chief Financial Officer Hiroki Totoki said, quote, about a potential price increase for the PS5, at this point in time, there is nothing specific I can share with you about prices, end quote. Sony is not the only consumer electronics company, to implement price hikes. Just this week, Facebook raised the price of its Quest 2 VR headset by $100 in the US for similar reasons. Elsewhere in the financial reports, PlayStation reported they shipped 2.4 million PlayStation 5 units during the 3 months ending June 30th, which puts overall shipped units at 21.7 million lifetime. However, PlayStation also saw a large decrease in software sales, selling 47.1 million units during the quarter, which is down from 63.6 million units in the same period last year. Digital game sales accounted for 79% of the quarter's software sales, up from 71% last year in the same time. Meanwhile, the number of PlayStation Plus subscribers was up 1 million from last year to 47.3 million, but down 100,000 from the last quarter. Monthly active users on PlayStation Network, so this is people that are online doing something, totaled 102 million in the quarter, which is down 3 million from the same period last year and down 4 million from the previous quarter. And 102 million is PlayStation's lowest monthly active user figure since they began reporting the number in early 2020. The PlayStation division as a whole reported sales had fallen 11.7% year over year, which they attributed to a decrease in sales of first party and third party titles, as well as a fall in DLC sales for third party games. Profit fell 30.5% from the same time last year, which Sony blames on falling software sales and an increase in costs related to first party game development. So there's a lot of data here, but what do you think?
Data mined. So the first thing about this price increase, we're accustomed to gas prices fluctuating and food prices fluctuating and home equity
Yeah.
fluctuating. So like all of that is kind of normalized, but consoles changing prices is not. It's kind of weird to me. Something about a good yeah, I guess you'd call it a good. Something about a good like that changing price after it's been set that I don't like. It seems like a bad precedent. You
Yeah.
could make a decent argument for like perishable items. I get that, but it's like I don't know. It's just odd to me. Can you imagine if like this week the game's $60, but next week it's 70? And it's not because it's on sale. It's just because of like the
Yeah.
stock market. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't need to do that. Not
That's
everything
some
needs to
Gran Turismo
fluctuate.
shit.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, don't let them do it. I wish they would just say what the real issue is. It's like all of this stuff has fallen because people are not sitting at home as much because of COVID, and the government isn't giving people free money to blow.
Yeah.
That's why all this stuff has fallen. Just say that. We don't need to blame it on anything else. It doesn't matter that software sales have fallen. Okay, why? Like
Yeah.
I can see they've fallen. I can read. Tell me why. It's like at work when somebody doesn't do reach a benchmark that we have set for them for the day, and they say, "Oh well, didn't get enough didn't get enough garments or whatever." Okay, why? I know you didn't. I can fucking see it. Like like if you're going to fix it, you have to know why. It's not enough to know that you didn't make
Sure.
it. Everybody knows you didn't make it. So that's
Mhm.
annoying. The profit falling 30% is large. That is
Yeah.
large.
It's a huge
And
drop.
that's something to be worried about because I think there's obviously something more there than just people not having the free money. It's or maybe it is. Maybe that's all it is. I don't know, but that seems like a higher percentage than I would expect from that. Like, we're talking about free money. I'm thinking like 10 to 15%. I'm not
Yeah.
thinking 30. So that's interesting. I think that that could be that could be an insight into something. But like they did say though, maybe 10 or 15% is that, and the other 10 or 15% is a higher cost to make games. That would make sense. Also, they bought
Yeah,
a lot of people. They bought studios. There you
they did.
go.
Yeah, that's in
So
there
yeah,
too.
all of that makes sense. Like it all balances out to me. But I guess in a nutshell, it's really about people not having free money anymore, and that's kind of the bottom line.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of factors, but that's definitely one of the biggest ones. And I got to tell you, if they have the balls to come out and raise the price of the PS5, it is going to be a fucking PR shitstorm that they have the likes of which they have never seen since probably they announced the pricing of PS3 and then maybe since they announced memory cards for the PS Vita. Like that's not going to go over well. If like all of a sudden the $400 console is 500 and the 500 is 600, etc. Like
Blow me.
they are going to get fucking crushed. And
Rightfully
that,
so.
yeah, and rightfully so. What I think is more practical is instead of in, 2 years, whenever they drop the PS5 Pro, don't drop the price of the base PS5. Just charge 50 or 100 more dollars for the Pro. And the
Yeah.
diehards like me are gonna pay. I'll pay the fucking tax, to have the PS5 Pro, and then you can just keep making your profit back on the standard PS5 as hopefully hardware component prices go down. Because in past cycles, as prices have gone down on components, then so too has the system price gone down. That's why
Mhm.
eventually there'll be a fucking $200 PS5 one of these days. So instead of
Right, when
doing
the
that,
PS8 is out.
yeah. So instead of doing that, maybe just keep the price $500 for longer. Or 400 and 500 for longer would be my suggestion. But I'm not a fucking CFO of a Fortune 500 either. I'm just some guy on a podcast. But the other thing about the financials, 30%, huge drop in profit. I think it's for all of the reasons you mentioned. And I did not include this because I didn't see it, but apparently Sony is concerned about the drop in user activity specifically. And they made some type of comment, Totoki did in this same call, that they're going to take steps to address that. Now, I don't know what that means,
Mhm.
but that means that they're obviously going to try to do something to get us back in, the people that they've lost. And as much as it might seem like a bad thing that some of the Sony's financials are down, at the same time, from a consumer standpoint, like we don't give a fuck about that. And this can only mean good things for us because they want to make that back, right? So they need us more than we need them. So they're going to do things to try to get us back, incentivize us. So when things are maybe not looking so good and maybe there's competition, et cetera, those are always good things for us as the consumer. So number 8, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is not the only part of Marvel that is set to expand, as Giant Bomb journalist Jeff Grubb reported that an open world single player Black Panther game is currently in the early stages of development at publisher Electronic Arts and their new studio established by former Monolith Productions head Kevin Stevens. Grubb said the game begins with Black Panther being dead and, quote, the player is going to take on the challenges of becoming the new Black Panther, and that seems to be the setup for the game, end quote. The game is supposedly known as codename Project Rainier at the moment, which likely refers to Mount Rainier in Seattle, Washington, where the new EA studio is based. EA announced last May that Kevin Stevens, who previously led development on the Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor, and Shadow of War games, would lead this new team in the development of open world action adventure games. What do you think? You are interested in a Black Panther game? Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party.
Absolutely not. So basically, how does the Black Panther die? Does he have a disease he didn't tell anybody about, and then he died before he won some Academy Awards or something like that? Is it just like the real actor?
God.
Like, listen,
Money,
guys,
maybe.
I don't need a Black Panther game. I'm cool with what we did in the Marvel stuff. You could have just put the Black. They did put the Black Panther in the Marvel game, didn't they?
Oh,
So,
yeah, he's there.
all right, whatever, dude. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not big on these like obscure. I mean, maybe Black Panther is obscure to me. That I mean, like there are certain Marvel characters like Spider-Man, Iron Man, Fantastic Four. There's some mainstays is what I'm trying to say. Captain America. But when you start getting kind of like off the beaten path, I would even consider like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of another example, but like Black Panther's off the beaten path a little bit for me.
She-Hulk.
So She-Hulk, yeah. I don't know, man. I think I'd be careful about trying to just fucking make a game for everything. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I even think Wolverine, like if Wolverine hadn't have had success in video games prior, that I don't know that that Insomniac would be making a Wolverine game, so to
Also,
speak,
yeah, I mean,
either.
but Hugh Jackoff made those great movies, so like it makes sense.
Yeah, true. So I don't know. It's not for me. It's not for me, but it is for someone. The only really intriguing thing to me about it is because they have the guy who did the Middle Earth games leading it, and they had that Nemesis system, which they obviously can't use in this game because Monolith and Warner Brothers has that trademarked or patented or whatever. So that's not going to happen. But just some interesting pedigree behind it. Number 9, Sony revealed the PlayStation Plus Essential Tier games for the month of August this week. Starting on August 2nd, PS4 and PS5 players can enjoy Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Deluxe Bundle and action RPG Yakuza spin-off Yakuza Like a Dragon. PS4 owners also get indie horror adventure game Little Nightmares, which is fantastic. In addition to the normal Essential Tier offerings, PlayStation also announced that 8 of the Yakuza franchise games will be coming to the PS Plus catalog by the end of this year, including the aforementioned Like a Dragon. Also coming to the service at various tiers in the month of August is Yakuza 0 to Extra and Premium, Kiwami to Extra and Premium as well, and Kiwami 2 to Extra and Premium. 4, 5, and 6 remasters will all come to the premium tier later this year. And Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, will come to the extra and premium tiers later this year as well. So, what do you think about the August lineup and the Yakuza games?
I've always wanted to try a Yakuza game, so this will be my chance to try one for quote unquote free. Just in the future reference, if something's on extra or premium, I'm gonna say free, even though I paid for the service.
Yeah, it just
I'm calling it free, guys.
yeah,
Whatever.
sure,
If you wanna if you wanna send me the breakdown of games I purchased through it, then let me know and we'll call it. I spent 52 cents on Yakuza 4. That's fine. If you wanna do the math.
sure,
Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I think will be cool. I think it'll do well. I think I'll have a lot of downloads. I don't know if I'll try it. I like the original Tony Hawks on PS1, but I don't think skate games just aren't for me anymore.
yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think it'll be cool. I think it'll do well.
Yeah, it's a really really good month for the essential tier. One of the best probably that we've had. Tony Hawk. The remasters are very highly regarded. Yakuza Like a Dragon is highly regarded, although not for me. And Little Nightmares is fantastic. An awesome. It is a horror game, but it's not really like scary. It's more just creepy than anything. It's like kind of like claymation looking characters and whatnot. I actually think you would like the game because you like kind of like Valiant Hearts and some of the other ones. I think you would enjoy Little Nightmares, but I can definitely recommend that. I don't know if I'll try Tony Hawk or not. I remember playing them, like you said, on PS1, I think it was growing up, maybe PS2, probably one of the sequels. And I have some good memories, but I also don't really have any type of itch to go back and play them. So this is like one of those months where it's like really good, but also not for me. And then the Yakuza stuff, I can really take or leave that as well. But I understand that's pretty good additions also. All right, number 10, Travis. We also have a bunch of news nuggets as well here. Feel free to jump in wherever you see fit. First nugget, Greg Rice, the head of PlayStation creators, announced this week that PlayStation has started a new development hardware loan program for newly licensed indie developers. The program loans teams one PS5 dev kit and one PS5 testing kit free of charge. It's pretty cool. We should make an indie studio.
What we call it?
I don't know what we could call it, the DualSense Studio.
I think they would sue us.
Probably. Next nugget, Giant Bomb reporter Jeff Grubb said that Ubisoft is planning to cancel their free-to-play roller derby game Roller Champions at the conclusion of Season 3, according to his sources. The game just launched in May, and Ubisoft has since denied the claims, saying they have, quote, exciting stuff planned for the next seasons, end quote. I bet it is real exciting.
It's so exciting you're canceled. That's what it is.
Oh, PlayStation Studio Media Molecule had held Dreamscom 22 this week within the Dreams game itself and featuring more than 200 creator designed booths, if that means anything to you. A group of former CD Projekt Red employees have announced the formation of a new game studio called Dark Passenger. The new studio has been working for 2 years on a new original IP set in feudal Japan. It will feature online multiplayer, cooperative multiplayer, both PvP and PvE, and it is being developed on Unreal Engine 5 for current gen consoles. This sounds very dope.
It sounds like Ghost of Tsushima, but more RPG.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
also,
more like a live service.
hmm?
So awful. I mean, that sounds cool. We'll see. Next nugget, website Video Games Chronicle reported that the new season of Apex Legends called Hunted will launch on August 9th, and along with it comes a new hero called Vantage, a sniper hero. Publisher Nacon has delayed The Lord of the Rings Gollum by quote unquote a few months, although they did not care to put a specific date on it. The game was originally scheduled to launch on September the 1st. That's a shame.
I just got inspiration for our studio name.
Oh, what is it?
Think shout out to Nacon. It's called Narcan, and what we do is we revive dead IPs.
I love it. That's great. Let's do it. Fuck it. How do we not get sued by Narcan?
What are you gonna sue me for? I'm bringing exposure to your life saving drug. You should thank me.
Oh, true. Also, soccer club Juventus. I never know how to say it. Juventus is returning to EA Sports FIFA title this year for the first time since 2019. The club has been an eFootball exclusive for the last 3 iterations of FIFA. Despite only being in closed beta until this week, Warner Brothers character brawler Multiverses was still able to have more concurrent players on Steam than any other one on one fighting game in Steam's history, clocking in at 62,433 players at one point. The second closest of all time was Dragon Ball Fighters, which previously hit 44,300 concurrent players. Once it went into open beta on the 26th, it peaked even higher at 140,000 concurrent players on Steam, making it Warner Brothers' biggest ever release on the PC platform. So it's a great success,
Yeah,
Multiverses.
yeah, it's awesome. A couple of guys I
Yeah.
play with at work, I was like, "You guys gotta play this game," and they came back yesterday and they told me they played 13 matches and lost once. And the game that they lost the first match, went to the second match, they beat them 4-0, and the other people quit. I was like, "I
I
told
love
you
that,
it's awesome." Like, you just get
dude.
sucked in.
We've been doing pretty good too. We're going to talk about that maybe if we have time. Also, speaking of Steam, recently launched indie cat game Stray has become the highest user rated game on the platform this year, currently sitting at 98% positive reviews with more than 42,000 votes.
Mhm.
Pretty cool.
I know the game isn't simple, and you could probably talk about that later, but I
Mhm.
think it is a testament again, like I've said before, it's a testament to the types of games people will love if you just make them well.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Naughty Dog senior environment artist, texture artist, Jonathan Bananas said that The Last of Us Part 1 will come to PC, quote unquote, soon after it launches on PS5 on September the 2nd. Jonathan also said that there is, quote unquote, no comparison between playing the PS3 and PS5 versions of the game.
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like fucking a girl virgin or a girl who knows how to move her hips. I'm
God
sure it's
almighty.
better.
Oh, without a doubt. Also, website PlayStation Deals found that PlayStation Store listings for an unannounced Tactics Ogre remaster for PS4 and PS5 called Tactics Ogre Reborn, with a release date of November the 11th. God, on Veterans Day, guys. The same name was trademarked by publisher Square Enix in April and briefly appeared on the PlayStation Store in June before being quickly removed. So that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, those ogres might trigger some PTSD.
They might. The next Monster Hunter game may have leaked via the Discord backend this week, as one user looking at a developer mode build of the platform found an event scheduled which would invite players to claim a code for Monster Hunter Paradise. Attempting to claim a code would offer players an Xbox, PlayStation, or PC code. The next Monster Hunter title was part of a significant Capcom leak under the name Monster Hunter 6. So that's also happening. EA Sports broke down a number of the changes coming alongside FIFA 23 this year, including penalty shots that are not based on timing, the ability to have a player lay down behind the defensive wall on free kicks, and changes to how players run and accelerate differently. Very excited. I watched some gameplay today. It looks good.
Yeah, but I mean, it just feels like that's stuff we should have had on the PS4.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. But it is EA. You know, got to hold some stuff back so they can have stuff for next year. Next nugget, the official art book for Hogwarts Legacy appears to have outed the release date for the game, with customers who pre order the book receiving emails stating that the release date for said book has been changed from a December 31st placeholder to December 6th, which is a Tuesday, mind you.
Hmm.
Interesting. Four WWE games have been delisted from digital storefronts without warning recently. WWE 2K17, 18, 19, and 20 are all no longer purchasable on the PlayStation Store. RIP. Returnal's Steam database entry has received yet another update, this time marking it as Steam Deck compatible. So that's just like right around the corner. They've got to be getting close to announce that. Former Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Origins creative director Ashraf Ismail has been hired by Chinese communist megacorporation Tencent to work
Hmm.
at Timmy Studio Group. Ismail was fired from Ubisoft in 2020 following accusations of abuse of power and extramarital affairs. Website GamesIndustry.biz reported that Wizards of the Coast, most famous as a publisher of cultural touchstone trading card games like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, has established a new video game studio in Austin, Texas called Skeleton Key. Skeleton Key will be led by Christian Daly, a former executive at EA, BioWare, and at Blizzard Entertainment.
Did he get fired for abuse of fire and fucking people, or no?
No, not him. Not this time.
Well, he's a Christian, so.
He is. Every day. A new studio conducted by the University of Oxford in the UK has found that playing video games does not affect a person's well being at all, really, especially not positively. The studio tracked the habits of nearly 40,000 people over 6 weeks who played Animal Crossing, Apex Legends, EVE Online, Forza Horizon 4, Gran Turismo Sport, Outriders, and The Crew 2,
Hmm.
and they found negligible effects on their happiness. So
You're
there
like,
you go.
they should do GT Sport competitive mode. That's negative impact.
I would argue that they did not pick they didn't pick great games across it. Like Animal Crossing, Apex. Yeah, that makes sense. The rest of these, I don't know what they were thinking, but okay. Next nugget. The MTV Video Music Awards will award the Best Metaverse Performance for the first time ever, which includes nominations for in game concerts from titles like Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, and PUBG. Okay. Website Push Square reported that Naughty Dog co president Neil Druckmann has shut down rumors of The Last of Us skins coming to Fortnite. So, The Last of Us skins are coming to Fortnite.
I was just thinking about that award show. Imagine you were, imagine the concert that won was when you saw the baby come out of that man in that random lobby you were in on Fortnite.
Jesus Christ. That would be awesome. I still don't know what the fuck is going on in that game, but okay. Also, Twitter handle PlayStation Game Size has discovered a PSN backend listing for Star Wars Jedi Survivor that indicates the game could release in late February or early March. PlayStation Studio Insomniac Games has begun sending Wolverine swag out to employees as work on the PS5 exclusive remains underway. Just a little bit closer to
Hey, honey, look at these metal claws I got.
it. Special editions of Hogwarts Legacy have leaked yet again online, this time discovered in code on the game's official website. The collector's edition will come with 72 hours of early access, a steelbook case, and various pieces of DLC. A digital deluxe edition will come with all of the above minus the steel case. Social media sleuths have discovered that Aloy's heavy action motion capture performer has gone back to work in the motion capture studio, perhaps suggesting that DLC for Horizon Forbidden West is in the works. That would be cool. They did that with the first game. They did like one DLC, so that'd be cool for them to do that with this one as well. Also, a Gotham Knights prequel comic will launch alongside the game, and it will expand its backstory for all you fucking nerds out there.
What do you mean expand its backstory? Like it's just a normal story, and then at the very end, Bruce Wayne's parents die.
Well, they're going to talk about because Batman is already dead at the start of the game, so I guess they're going to go into like why he's dead and how it happened. Would be my assumption.
I've never read that part of the comic book. How does Batman die?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm out of the loop. Also, a PS5 version of What Remains of Edith Finch dropped this week, but PS5 users who claimed the PS4 version on PlayStation Plus are not able to upgrade to the current gen version for free. Yet again. Head of PlayStation Indies Shuhei Yoshida has begun hosting a Let's Play series on the PlayStation YouTube channel, with the first episode premiering this week featuring Stray, of course. Ubisoft's outdoor extreme sports game Riders Republic received its third season of content this week, with the fourth season and BMX expansion arriving later this year. Hitman 3's Ambrose Island map dropped this week as well, alongside changes to the elusive Target arcade. Talent agency management sim Idle Manager comes to PS4 and PS5 on August 25th. I know you're excited about that one.
Can't wait to extort people.
Action RPG The Crown of Wu will release on PS4 and PS5 later this year. It is inspired by the 16th century Chinese novel Journey to the West.
Woo, woo, woo.
Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fuck with. Website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that former Microsoft executive Peter Moore, who is now the CEO of Liverpool FC, fuck those guys, admitted on a front office sports podcast that Microsoft actively encouraged the console wars mentality, but it was meant to create healthy competition between Sony and Microsoft rather than the toxic divisiveness that we see today. So thank you, Microsoft, for all the horseshit we have to deal with online.
You cannot encourage a war-type mentality without there being
No.
divisiveness. That doesn't work that way, and they know that. It's Machiavellianism.
Yeah, fucking idiot. It's just stupid. They knew what they were doing. Also, staff working on Skull and Bones, Travis's favorite, are not confident about the game, according to a new report from website Kotaku.
Oh,
That's a
shit.
shock.
Yeah, what do you expect? It's better than being in a fucking Taiwanese jail or whoever made it.
Have you ever been in a Turkish prison? FIA has said, FIA, Free Animals Now, has said that they will renew their partnership with Gran Turismo 7 when the game is more stable, adding that the relationship has quote unquote not ended with Polyphony Digital. Okay.
Fair enough.
Activision said they have plans to drop Modern Warfare 2 beta codes next week during Call of Duty League. The ESRB has rated Serious Sam Siberian Mayhem for PS5, meaning that a release is imminent. It was released exclusively on PC back in January of this year. Rockstar was planning to release a Cops and Crooks mode for GTA Online and GTA 5 back in the summer of 2020, according to a new report from Bloomberg. The mode was shelved indefinitely following real-world events, including the killing of George Floyd. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches this week: Evil Dead the Game, Multiversus, Riders Republic, Rider, I hardly know her, F122, Hunt Showdown, Dauntless, Outriders, For Honor, Fallout 76, Neverwinter, Gran Turismo 7, No Man's Sky, Black Desert Online, Aliens Fireteam Elite, Hitman 3, and Minecraft. Insider, I hardly know her. Tom Henderson reported that Activision will reveal Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer in early September, with the game's beta taking place in mid to late September. Funko, the makers of Pop figurines, is stepping into the realm of video games and creating a AAA action platformer with developer 1010 Games, a new studio led by BAFTA winner John Burton, who is the founder of legendary Lego game developer Traveler's Tales. Wow, that's interesting. Honestly, I wanted to put that as a news story, but we just had too much to talk about. But
It
this
could
is
really be
crazy.
cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean,
Yeah.
because you imagine the art would follow kind of what the figurines are.
Oh,
But
that'd be cool. I never considered that. Also, developer Team Ninja revealed that their next title, Wolong Fallen Dynasty, will feature a character creator, a morale system, sorcery, online multiplayer, and famous warlords from the Three Kingdoms stories. Publisher Behavior Interactive announced plans to host its first ever game showcase event on August 3rd at 1 p.m. Eastern, where it will share news and announcements on its upcoming slate of games. Behavior is most known as the publisher of asymmetrical horror game Dead by Daylight. Metro Goldwyn Mayer has lost the film rights from the Tomb Raider IP after failing to greenlight a sequel to 2018's reboot starring Alicia Vikander. Website The Wrap reports that a number of Hollywood studios are interested in acquiring the rights. Website Gamatsu reported that the PS5 version of Dungeon RPG Undernauts Labyrinth of Yomi will release on August 11th.
were you checking to Yomi there almost?
Just about, yeah, that game got me a little tongue-tied. Also, twin-stick shooter tower defense game Slaycation Paradise, which looks dope, will launch on PS4 and PS5 on August the 18th. Side-scrolling roguelike brawler Chinzo Club will launch on PS4 on September the 1st. Also looks kind of cool. Publisher NIS America will release shoot 'em up game Raiden 4. Cross Mikado Remix for PS4 and PS5 in early 2023. Puzzle platformer A Tale of Paper Refolded, a remastered version of the original, will launch on PS5 later this year. Tactical combat RPG Fuga Melodies of Steel 2 will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime in 2023. A full remake of 2006's Sherlock Holmes The Awakened was announced for PS4 and PS5 by developer Frogwares. Management game Bunny Park and a bakery management game Lemon Cake will both launch on PS4 and PS5 on September the 30th. Goat Simulator 3 will launch on PS5 on November 17th. Side-scrolling action RPG Dungeon Munchies will release on PS4 and PS5 on October the 28th. How high were those guys when they made that? Physical editions of Chinese action RPG Sword and Fairy Together Forever will release on PS4 and PS5 in early 2023 in the West. Thirsty Suitors has added PS4 and PS5 versions, but we still don't have a release date for the relationship sim. I think that's what it is. It looks kind of weird. 3D action base building game Bounty Star The Morose Tale of Graveyard Clem will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime next year. Exploration game Outer Wilds will get a native PS5 version with 60 frames per second support on September the 15th. PS4 owners will be able to upgrade for free. Exploration game Season, A Letter to the Future, has been delayed to the first quarter of next year. Dungeon RPG Labyrinth of Zangetsu has been rated for PS4 by the ESRB, meaning that a release announcement is imminent. Strategy RPG Adventure Academia The Fractures Continent will come west on PS4 sometime later this year. Psy Games has acquired the Metal Max IP from Kadokawa Games. Metal Max series creator Hiroshi Miyaoka will continue to work on the series as a director at Psy Games. Cooperative creature collection game Flock was announced for PS4 and PS5. Mother Flockers. Publisher Annapurna Interactive revealed a teaser for a new game from Katamari Damacy creator Kaita Takahashi. And finally, Gamatsu reported that Annapurna Interactive announced partnerships with 4 developers to publish their next games. Cardboard Computer, the studio behind the award-winning Kentucky Route Zero. Dreamfield, the studio that made If Found. Third Shift, a German studio working on their debut single-player road trip adventure game called Forever Ago. And Yarn Owl, a new studio based in both Austin, Texas and Atlanta, Georgia, working on their very first game as well. And that is all for one hell of a news week this week. And I'll now turn it over to Travis for this week's new games.
On the 25th, we have the Football Tee. On the 26th, we have Mozart Requiem, Multiverses, Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town. The 27th, we have Arsonist Heaven, Gunbird, Path of the Titans, Samurai Aces 3, Sengoku Canon, No Samurai Aces 2. The Sheep
Great,
Quiz.
yeah, smart.
On the 28th, we have Arcade Archives, Roller Jammer, Anquilation, whatever that means.
Something, yeah.
Loot Light, Lost Epic, Puzzletronics Digital Infinite, Transaruby, What Remains of Edith Finch. The 29th, we have Avenging Spirit, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2, Coffee Run, Color Slayers, Crossout, Digimon Survive. Wow, we're still doing that. Kids on Site Hard Hat Edition. Okay, I'm here for child labor. That's amazing. All right. We also have Ninja Run,
which released last week, by the way.
We have Pizza Break Head to Head, RimWorld Console Edition. There's something about that game I saw the other day, but I forgot what it was.
Yeah, that's the one I've been sending you shit about.
That's what it was. Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town came out twice last week. The Enigma Machine, The Jumping Sushi, which we've talked about before. Turrican Anthology Volume 1 and 2.
And that is all for the new games this week. Quite a few. Multiverse is probably the biggest one there. I know Ryan from Australia is super rock hard for Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town. It's his shit, farming games and stuff. RimWorld, I have that one. That's the one that looks like Prison Architect, but Dune meets
Oh
Prison
yeah.
Architect, basically. Pretty cool. Played a little bit of it. I'll talk about that in a moment. And Digimon Survive, that's a big one, just not for me. I think a lot of people are excited about that. But yeah, that's it. So let's now begin to wrap the show up here, Travis, like we always do, by discussing what we've been playing. We'll try to keep it in here. What have you been playing?
Played some Battlefield earlier this week. Wasn't happy that wasn't happy that they changed the map. What did they change it to? Instead of Conquest, it was like Breakthrough or whatever
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
Canada map. That sucked, but they have fixed it since then. But we played that for a little
Hmm.
bit. We got some vehicle stuff done. I'm like really, really close to level 60. I'm like 40,000 XP away, so I can get that last sniper, and then we'll kind of see what that's about. I've been enjoying the AC-42. If you haven't tried it, it's pretty fun.
It is.
We played Multiverses. That's the only other thing I played this week. Multiverses is awesome. I I think we lost one match, like an actual match. We lost to 2 out of 3.
Hmm.
Other than that, I don't think we've lost. I bought Bugs Bunny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I got so annoyed with the tutorial, I didn't finish it, so I don't have Wonder Woman yet. But I've just been doing the random thing. Like, I literally put it on random
uh,
character and I play. So, like, whatever it gives me, I play
oh,
with. Basically, Taz is overpowering. I understand why people are upset about it, but, like, the amount of outcry is a little excessive. Like, if you're good at the game, like, we beat multiple people with Taz. If he was
hmm,
that overpowering, we wouldn't have been able to beat them as easily as we did. So, like, the
yes.
idea of overpowering is, to me, is somebody who sucks balls at the game is suddenly really good. And we've seen characters pop up like that. Like, I think there was an Overwatch character like that, and I think there was an Apex Legends character like that. Like, we've seen that happen before. It doesn't feel like it's that level to me,
Yeah.
but it's fun still. You were Superman a lot. I wasn't good with Superman in the alpha, so I haven't even tried him. It's a blast, dude. Like, we were playing one, and I had gotten Shaggy, and I just realized that, like, I was trying to throw the sandwich at somebody, and I kept getting the timing wrong, and I just kept punching them while I was holding the sandwich in my hand, and I realized I was giving them a knuckle sandwich, which then made me laugh. I remembered that I could basically sprint forward and I could kick, and I was just spamming some asshole with a kick. I was kick, 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 kick. I just kept doing it over and over again. I kicked him off the mat. It was great. I loved it so much. And also, if you could time it right, you can basically set up on Bugs Bunny. You can drop the Acme safe and use the rocket, and if you use them
Mhm.
at the right time with the right timing, you can basically double hit an opponent with both of them, and it's like unsurvivable. But I've
Dope.
only got
It's
it
like
to
an
work
instant
once.
kill.
I've got it to work once. The other 2 times I hit the safe with the rocket and it exploded. It didn't work. But no, the
That's
game's a
great.
blast. It's so much fun. It's fast. It's you never feel like you're out of it, which is the best part, about the game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
what's so much fun about it. But yeah, it's a blast, dude.
Yeah, I love it. It's a great game. I'm really into it, and it seems like everybody else is too. We talked about how well it's doing on Steam. The reviews on it have been saying that it's a Smash Brothers competitor, so they're onto something. I am a Superman main at the moment, like you said. I really like playing with him. I've got his moves somewhat figured out, pretty good with him. I also like Wonder Woman, and that's really the only ones I've played with so far in the full release or open beta, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you were lasering people.
Yeah, fuck yeah. But yeah, we also played some Battlefield 2042. Not much else to say about that game. Still enjoying it. Glad they brought Conquest Exodus 24/7 back. Hopefully we can play some of that this weekend as well. Got a new set of missions for the week that I got to accomplish, and then I also finished Stray, and I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think I liked the final third of the game the best, but at the same time it just felt like it was not doing a little bit of something that I wanted it to do. I don't know what exactly, but it was lacking a little bit. But I also at the same time really enjoyed it. And like I said, the final third is when I thought it got best, when the story kind of revelation started coming through, and you started to like see what was happening and so on. That was kind of when it hit the best for me.
Did you get the platinum?
No, I'm not going to get the platinum. It's kind of difficult, I think, from what I've seen, or at least for me anyway. I'm not going to do it. Played RimWorld, which is that management real time strategy game that's from Double 11, the people who did Prison Architect, has the same art style. I've only done the tutorial. I put some footage on YouTube, and it seems like, but not seems, it is an extremely deep game. So I'm looking forward to learning some more about it. But I like what I've seen so far of it. Excited about it. And then the last thing I played was Guardians of the Galaxy, which I don't remember if I had played last week or not. I'm on chapter 3, so kind of like, I mean, just past the tutorial basically. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with how good the game looks. Like, it looks fucking incredible. I'm playing in ray tracing mode, and it's so good looking. The facial animations are incredible. Like, the character models are great. Like, kudos to them for doing, like, knocking it out of the park on that regard. The characters actually don't get on my nerves like I thought they were going to. I mean, they talk a lot, but it's like really well acted and written, and it's funny a lot of the times. And so that kind of caught me off guard, but that stands out to me as a big positive. The one thing, and this is a big one, that I'm not sure is going to work is I don't know if the combat is going to sustain my interest. The combat seems a little boring to me at the moment. It seems a little one note, if you will. Arguably, the gameplay, the combat has to be the best part of a game. You know, the story can be good, the graphics can be good, the writing, acting can all be good. But if the game's not fun to play, I'm probably not going to finish it. So I'm going to give it a couple more hours to see if anything opens up for me. But right now, the combat's not really doing it for me. So we'll see if I stick with it. But everything else about it is pretty well done. So yeah, that's all I've been playing, and that's all that we have been playing. That's it for the show. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe so that we'll get delivered to you each and every Monday on your podcast feed or YouTube if you are listening there. Also, if you can leave us a rating or review, a thumbs up, a comment, all of that would be helpful and much appreciated to help us fight the algorithm. And of course, don't forget to find us on social media where you can chat PlayStation with us on Twitter at the DualSense Pod or Instagram, Facebook, our blog, which is the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.com. And then finally, if you know someone who you think might enjoy the show, then please send them our way or send us their way, however that works. And we would love to get them on board as well. We'll get out of here now. You guys take care. Have a great week, and we'll talk at you next time. Bye bye.